You finally did it. You saved $100,000. You clawed your way to six figures. All the skipped lattes, the extra shifts, the saying no when you wanted to say yes. And now you're standing on top of this little pile of cash and you're completely, utterly paralyzed. Because now you have something to lose. You're terrified of one wrong move wiping you back to zero. Let me tell you the truth. That $100,000 isn't a fortress, it's a target. Every financial institution, every advisor, every guru on this platform is aiming right for it. You think hitting six figures makes you safe? You are wrong. It makes you the perfect, most profitable customer. The financial system is not designed to make you wealthy. It's designed to harvest your savings, one management fee, one commission, and one bad piece of advice at a time. That $100,000 is the most dangerous amount of money you will ever have, because it's just enough to make you feel safe, but not nearly enough to be safe. So what does the world tell you to do now? Max out your 401k. Put it in a diversified mutual fund. Make a down payment on your dream home. This is the gospel of the comfortable, compliant middle class, and it is a lie. They are selling you a 40-year plan to be a comfortable wage slave. They are selling you a retirement at 65 where you can hopefully manage your nest egg so you don't outlive your own money. The wealthy don't save their way to freedom. They don't diversify into mediocrity. They deploy capital. They acquire assets. They concentrate their wealth to build power. I'm not here to give you comfortable, cookie-cutter advice. I'm here to show you how the money game is actually played. Before you can build, you have to stop destroying. You have to understand the traps laid for you, traps designed to look like responsible decisions. The first thing you do with $100,000 is not make one of these four mistakes. The first mistake is the safety trap. This is dumping all of it into a high-yield savings account or a CD. You're scared, so you prize capital preservation above all else. You see that 5% interest rate and think you're winning. You are being played. Let's do the math the bank doesn't show you. First, that 5% win is unearned income, so the government immediately takes 30 to 40% of it in taxes. Your real yield is now 3%. Now, what is inflation? The government prints numbers saying 3%, maybe 5%. But what is the real inflation on the things you actually want to buy? Housing, education, healthcare, quality food. That inflation is 8 to 10% minimum. You are guaranteed to be losing purchasing power every single day. Your safe money isn't safe. It's a melting ice cube, and you're celebrating the puddle. The second mistake is the dream home trap. This is using your entire $100,000 stack as a down payment on your primary residence. You've been programmed since birth to believe this is the American dream and a great investment. It is neither. You are sinking your entire stack of liquid, offensive capital, your entire army, into a single illiquid asset. You aren't buying an asset, you're buying a 30-year liability. You have just chained yourself to a massive mortgage payment, non-stop property taxes that only go up, insurance, and thousands in maintenance every year. You've traded your financial freedom, your mobility, and your entire war chest for a set of golden handcuffs. That house owns you. The third mistake is the advisor trap. This is the most insidious. You think, I'm not the expert, I'll hand it over to a professional. You walk into a big-name firm, and a person in a nice suit smiles, takes your $100,000, and you've just outsourced your single most important responsibility. Here's what they do. They put you in the exact same cookie-cutter mutual funds as every other client. Then they charge you a 1 to 2% assets under management fee. That's 1-2% whether you win or lose. That fee compounds over time, eating decades of your potential wealth. They are not paid to make you rich. They are paid to gather assets, your assets. You've just paid someone 1 to 2% a year to put you in an S&P 500 index fund you could have bought yourself for free. The final mistake is the blind diversification trap. This is the S&P 500 and chill religion. You're told, you can't beat the market, so just be the market. This is a passive strategy that guarantees one thing: passive returns. You are buying a basket full of over-leveraged zombie companies that are one bad quarter from insolvency, just to get exposure to the 5 or 6 good companies actually driving the market. This is a 40-year prison sentence. It is not a path to financial sovereignty. You don't get rich by being average. Sovereignty requires active, focused concentration, not blind, cowardly diversification. So let's burn the old rule book. You need to stop thinking like a saver. You need to start thinking like a capitalist. Your $100,000 is not a nest egg to be protected. It is a platoon of soldiers. You do not send your soldiers to rest. You send them to conquer, and you, as the general, must give them a clear mission. Here are the real rules. This is your new mission. First, rule number 1, you will build your war chest the right way. That $100,000 is not your emergency fund. Before you deploy a single dollar of it on any of the strategies I'm about to give you, you must first have 6 months of your non-negotiable personal expenses, rent, food, utilities, in boring, liquid, high-yield cash. This is your sleep-at-night fund. This is your defense. The $100,000 is your offense. Do not ever commingle them. The most common pitfall is that people use their $100,000 as their emergency fund. Then a real emergency hits, a job loss, a medical bill, and they are forced to liquidate their investments at the worst possible time, probably at a loss, and they are reset to zero. The economic justification here is simple. We are separating defense, which is liquidity for survival, from offense, which is capital deployment for growth. A general who sends his entire army to attack, leaving his home base completely undefended, is a fool who will be wiped out by the first counterattack. This structure allows you to take calculated, intelligent risks with your offensive capital because your defensive capital ensures your survival. Rule number 2. You will buy back your time. This is the first priority. Before you buy a single stock, you will use $10,000 to $15,000 of that $100,000 to immediately buy back your low-value time. You will hire a virtual assistant for 10 hours a week to handle your scheduling, research, and admin. You will hire a cleaning service. You will use a meal prep or delivery service. You will automate every non-strategic task in your life. The common pitfall is that people see this as a luxury or an expense. They say, I can't afford to pay someone $30 an hour to clean my house. The truth is, you cannot afford not to. You are trading your irreplaceable, strategic, high-value time, which could be used to build a $1,000 an hour skill or a new business, to save $30. The economic justification is the principle of highest and best use. Your time is your single greatest asset, but only if you use it correctly. You must leverage your capital to free up your human capital. You must free yourself from $20 an hour tasks so you can focus with intensity on $1,000 an hour opportunities. Rule number 3, invest in one skill, not 100 stocks. This is your $25,000 skill stack. You will take $25,000 of that $100,000 and you will invest it in yourself, not on a useless university degree. You will invest it in a hard, high-income skill, a 3-month intensive coding boot camp, a high-level mastermind on sales, negotiation, and deal-making, a certification in AI implementation for small businesses, something that can directly add $5,000 to $10,000 a month to your active income within 6 months. Let's look at an anecdote. Compare 2 people, both starting with $100,000. Person A does the responsible thing. He puts all $100,000 in an S&P 500 index fund. After 1 year of a good market, he's up 10%. He has $110,000. But he is exactly the same person. He is still a wage slave, 100% dependent on his 9-to-5 job, and one layoff away from disaster. Now look at person B. She takes $25,000 and invests it in a high-level boot camp on AI automation for businesses. She spends the next 6 months building this skill. The other $75,000 sits in boring T-bills, earning 4%. In those 6 months, she masters the skill and lands one client at $4,000 a month, then a second. By the end of the year, she hasn't made 10%. She has added $96,000 in new active income to her life. She has built an entirely new engine. Who won? The passive gambler who is praying for the market to go up, or the active builder who created a permanent sovereign income stream from scratch? The common pitfall is that people dabble. They buy a $200 online course, they don't finish it, and they say it didn't work. I'm not talking about a cheap course. I am talking about a capital investment. You are buying a new income stream by acquiring the skill to create it. The economic justification is that the ROI on yourself is infinite. The S&P 500 might give you 10% a year, or it might give you negative 20%. A $25,000 investment in a skill that returns $5,000 a month is a 240% annual ROI. You are not investing, you are building a machine. Your active income is the engine of your wealth. You must upgrade the engine first. Rule number 4, buy a cash flow asset, not a hope asset. Now we deploy. You will take $50,000, and with it, you will buy your first income-producing asset. This is not crypto. This is not a high-growth tech stock with no earnings. This is a boring asset that pays you to own it. The practical application? This $50,000 could be a 20% down payment on a $250,000 cash-flowing rental property in a stable linear Midwest market, not a sexy coastal bubble. Or it could be buying a small, profitable e-commerce site or content blog from a marketplace like Flippa that is already generating $1,000 a month in proven profit. Let me give you a real historical anecdote. Look at Warren Buffett. People think he's a stock picker. He's not. He's a cash flow buyer. When he bought See's Candies in 1972, it wasn't a sexy high-growth tech company. It was a boring chocolate company. But it generated cash. It cost $25 million and was already making $4 million a year in pre-tax earnings. That cash flow, that profit, was then used to buy more cash-flowing assets. He didn't buy hope. He bought a machine that printed money. Your $50,000 investment is your first tiny See's Candies. It's the first gear in your compounding machine. The common pitfall here is that people chase appreciation. They buy a growth stock hoping it goes up. They buy a rental in a sexy city like Austin or Miami hoping the price goes up. This is speculation, not investing. You must buy income. Appreciation is the bonus. It is never the strategy. The economic justification is that this is the fundamental difference between the rich and the poor. The poor trade their time for money. The rich buy assets that generate money while they sleep. This first $50,000 purchase is your first employee that works for you 24/7. It's not about the $500 or $1,000 a month it makes at first. It's about breaking the time for money link forever. Rule number 5, build the system. The remaining $10,000 to $15,000 is your opportunity fund. It sits in cash, liquid, ready to deploy on the next deal. But the real system is this. The new money from your new skill, Rule 3, and the new money from your new asset, Rule 4, does not go to a new car. It does not go to a lifestyle upgrade. It goes into one place, buying more cash-flowing assets. You've used the original $100,000 to build a system. Skill income plus asset income goes to buy more assets. That's it. That's the whole game. The common pitfall is lifestyle creep. It's the person who gets that $5,000 a month raise from their new skill and immediately goes out and buys an $800 a month car payment. They have just rebuilt their prison, only with slightly nicer golden bars. The economic justification is that you are building a perpetual wealth engine. You've escaped the wage-spend-zero loop that 99% of the population is trapped in. You've entered the wage, invest, asset, cash flow, reinvest loop. This is how all dynasties are built, not by saving, but by acquiring. So now you have two choices. You can take that $100,000, the reward for all your sacrifice, all your discipline, all your hard work, and you can hand it right back to the system. You can give it to the bankers in exchange for a 30-year mortgage. You can give it to Wall Street to be eaten alive by fees for 40 years. You can let it melt away in a safe savings account. You can become a safe, responsible, and compliant cog in the financial machine. You will be comfortable and you will die a wage slave. Or you can take that $100,000 and you can use it as a weapon. You can use it as the down payment on your own life. You can use it to buy your time, to buy new skills, and to buy assets that work for you. You can build a system that serves you instead of one that you serve. It's a simple binary choice, the path of the saver or the path of the capitalist. The path of compliance or the path of sovereignty. That $100,000 is burning a hole in your pocket, and the entire financial system is counting on your fear and your compliance. They are waiting for you to make the safe choice. Your next move is not just a financial decision, it's a declaration of who you are. Stop waiting. Stop being afraid. Stop being the target. Start building. The choice is yours. Make it.